glass up high. Turn it up, it's time. Tall boy on the line. Loud breeze, they will laugh. Raise your glass up high.
Welcome back to episode 346 of the Tall Boy Radio podcast. And as we always say, who knows where it goes when the beer flows? Well, before we get to saying hello to our guest, I want to say hello to two new countries. Country number 130, Togo, and country number 131, the Dominican Republic. Welcome on board. Thank you for joining us. You've picked an excellent episode to join us for because we're joined by a friend of the show. He's been on a number of times, and he's an actor in some very, very excellent films. And I have to say, we're going to be talking about one of those tonight, which I might just say is one of the better films that DBS have ever produced. They do some good stuff, but this one I thought was exceptional. Benjamin, how are you doing, dude?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have people here from new countries. That's very cool.
Yeah, we're honored. We're honored. Yeah, 131 new countries now.
Your reach is so global that every time I come here, I feel like I should be speaking in other languages.
Yeah. No, as we discussed at the start, you don't need to. We just need to speak slowly and loud.
And loud. Yes. Welcome, Dominican Republic from the United States.
Yeah. Well, just at the moment, we're seeing a lot of growth abroad. We can't quite get a head around it. Vietnam at the moment, the listing figures in Vietnam is ridiculous. Literally about 3 months ago, nobody ever listened in Vietnam. Now they're our third most listening to country, whatever the word is for that, whatever the verb is.
It's amazing. I've learned how through any kind of medium, once you're in a spot you've never been before, it can grow very quickly. I know from my experience with Russia, what we had with A Cold Grave, which it did very well, and then it reached Russia and it blew up. The only problem was that everyone in Russia was pirating and stealing it, so they made no money. But it was the number one stolen film for independent horror in Russia. Just blew up.
Is that true? Is that true?
Yeah. So the number one most pirated independent horror film was A Cold Grave.
That is impressive. I mean,
in the middle of the Russia-Ukraine war, there's just a bunch of Russians just stealing my film.
Yeah, obviously, they obviously don't have enough to do with their time, but God bless them. I mean, that's quite an accolade to have. Somebody's got to have that title.
The weirder it is, the more I'm impressed by. Like a number one film, that's cool. Number one stolen film, yes, that's amazing.
Yeah, that is. I must admit, I've been to Russia. I went to Russia. Oh, I'm going to give too much away, but it was probably the best part of 30 years ago. I went to Russia. I visited Moscow and St. Petersburg. And yeah, there is a lot of pirating that was going on there even back then.
Well, it's good to know nothing's changed. Like, some places you want to know that there's still crime. Russia, New York City. It's part of the allure. It's the part of the tourism.
Exactly. That's what people come to see when they go to.
Yeah, you come to Florida, you got to sweat. You have to sweat and you have to smell. It's part of the experience.
Amen. Now that is one place I haven't visited. Florida is on my map, though. It's somewhere I would like to get to. Maybe next year. Who knows? We haven't planned our holiday for next year, but it will more than likely be in. It's a cert. It will be in the States.
You can come anytime because we have air conditioning. So anytime you come, it's better than where you are.
I know this. I know you Americans can't get your head around it, but like I said to my cousin Bo when he was over here, normally we don't need it. It's not normally this hot over here.
I don't understand it. You've been around for thousands of years as a country, and you've done all these incredible things. You've conquered the world several times over, but air conditioning just completely eluded all of Europe. Just never occurred to anyone. Smaller cars, yes. Air conditioning, no.
Yeah, well, listen, we've got the small car down to a T. Sweating, we're also quite good at that. Looking red-faced.
Do the cars have air conditioning?
Yes, cars have air conditioning.
So you figured it out for the cars, just not for the homes.
Yeah. The more I think about it, I can see why you're surprised now. Why you Americans are surprised. It makes more sense now when the cars have it and the houses don't.
I can't imagine a world without air conditioning. I've literally done like a list of 3 things I couldn't live without. It's like air, water, air conditioning. Like, how do you
You mi-
survive without any of those?
you miss beer off that list. That's my number one priority.
I could, yeah, I guess I could swap out oxygen for alcohol. That would be way better. And also, cheers, healthy American seltzer.
Indeed, indeed, and a good old Northern English beer that's made of goodness knows what and is incredibly
It,
thick. So,
you, I feel like every time I come on your show, I try and think of like, let me get like a real good American beer. I think about it every time, and I did in my fridge at home. I have one that I was saving for your show. I'm not at my house. I forgot. The last two times I did your show, I did the same thing. I was also not at my house when I did your show. So three times I'm like, oh, let me get this. I got one from the local brewery. I got two other domestics. All three times, forgot it.
dude, that listen, one thing you know on Tour already, if you're not going to be having a beer, we'll have a beer for you. It's not a problem.
Yeah, well, I've got my my masculine seltzer.
Listen, it keeps the weight off, as we were just discussing when the football shirts are a bit too tight. Seltzers.
Yeah, this was the third shirt choice for the day. And
That's
what this is actually it's intentional. See, I did another film at DBS. As you know, we're going to talk about the new one they have coming out, and I played Roger again, and I haven't played him in a few years. And I went, we start going through the script, and my mind starts going, and I want to get the look down. And I went back and I watched the original, and I noticed that Roger was never scrawny. He always had some size to him. And I got on the scale and I went, wow, you are little. You are not Roger size. So I just, for about a month, just started trying to put on weight and trying to get some of the Roger physique back. And by the time we shot, it was good. Like the arms were good, the look was right, it was exactly what I wanted. And then as soon as we were done, all the working out just stopped. The weight stayed the same, but the muscle and the working out completely disappeared. So for about 3 weeks ago, I looked really good. 3 weeks later, not as great. So the overshirt is slightly intentional just to cover up from the stomach down.
it's a tactic I learn and employ on a daily basis.
Yeah. And this is so obnoxiously distracting. No one's looking at anything else. Like the fact I don't
That
have
is
long
some
hair
shit.
anymore.
No, that is some shit. But
Just look at the
it's
shirt.
it's impressive. It's good to hear that Roger's back, though. It is good to hear that Roger's back.
It was awesome. Playing him again was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. I
Yeah.
was, we talk about bringing him back all the time because people still like it. A Cold Grave just got optioned again to move to another country to find a whole new audience, and we found out about that a couple days before we went to go shoot. So the timing just it worked out to bring him back. He's getting more exposure, and I never played the same character more than once. It was something I never wanted to do, but with Rogers, I just want to play him all the time. And once we were done, and I cut the hair off and I changed the look and I got my face back. And my first thought was, oh, it feels so great to not look like him anymore. God, I can't wait to play him again. So it's that weird of I hate when I have the mustache, the long hair is annoying, the stubble's gross, but I just love bringing him to life. That I'm already like, I just get a wig and I'll just grow out the mustache. We could do it again.
Yeah, dude. Well, when you said you had a new film coming out and you sent me the link to watch it, and I did it and I watched it, and actually, I don't watch a lot of horror films now because I've got two young children and I don't like to put bad vibes out into the house. So I sat in the garden and watched it. Wife and daughter were out. Son was playing football, so I sat there on my small screen, earplugs in, and obviously
It's
comes in
funny.
Europe.
That's how most people watch my films. They don't want anyone else to know that they're watching a film with me in it. You have to hide in a corner of shame. Like, what are you watching? It's a Benjamin L Newmark movie. Just don't tell anyone.
No, dude, that cannot be true. But no, I watched it, and you come on the screen very early doors there, and I thought, here we go. Is it going to be Roger? No, he's looking way too sharp, unless this is what happened to Roger beforehand, and this is how he ended up. But no, you play a very different character in this movie.
Yeah, this was a fun one because I worked with Brendan. This was the fourth film we did together, and two were Roger. So there's no real communication that you need there. We're on the same page language wise of what we want to do, how we want to get there. We do something that much, it gets easier. The third film, we did a more manic character, but it was so close to my natural personality. They just ramp it up a little, and that was easy. But with this one, um, the demonologist Lancaster, this was totally different because he sent me what he wanted me to read, and I gave him an audition, and I don't think he liked it because I think they were going to go in a different direction. Because I did something I don't even remember. It was a very odd audition. I was trying to do like my version of Russell Crowe in The Pope's Exorcist. So just try to do something, and I don't think it was working great. And then he got back to me later. He's like, "Hey, I want you to do this character, but I want you to do it this way." And I was like, "Oh, okay, okay." So we're going weary demonologist, worldly, not okay. So this is what I want. I don't want the normal high panic and fear, and I don't want to be scared. I want it to be someone that when something scary happens, it's earned because this character has mileage to him, has years to him, has wisdom to him. So it was something that I got to do differently, which is go very slow and very low energy. And I got to do a lot more with my face and a lot more with just the tone and a lot more of saying what I want to say without actually having to say it. It was a lot of fun to bring this character to life, and it was totally different than what we've done before. Uh, one using a script because normally we don't do that. I just go, but this was, hey, here's what we want to say. Here's how we want to say it. Here's how we move the story along. It was a different experience getting to work like just a regular actor doing a real regular character as opposed to just trying to dial something up to 11 and then make it feel real. This was one that, hey, this guy is grounded from the beginning in a heightened reality world. So it was a lot of fun. I had a great time with him. I'd love to bring him back too.
Oh no, don't. Well, I won't give too much away, but in terms of the film, like I don't like you say, it's not out yet, so I want people to enjoy it with a, without too many preconceptions about what they're going to see. But you know, the way it starts off, it's pretty clear the way it's going to go. That what we're actually seeing here is a exorcism movie, and those films can be pretty uncomfortable, can't they, to watch? I think if they're done well, and I will say this about this one, I thought it was done really, really well. I thought it was an exceptional film. It was it was very well shot. The makeup throughout the whole film was incredible, but the acting was phenomenal as well. I really, really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, it's horror is a different kind of genre because people aren't necessarily going to see it just for the story. A lot of people are going to see it for the kill count. They're going to see it for the gore. They're going to see it for the human anatomy on full bloody display. So there's certain things you have to give to a horror audience. And with DBS, they're very lucky to work with Tegan, who is cause and effects makeup. Brilliant. She's absolutely incredible. She's the one that in the last cabin did the hammer hanging out of my head with all the blonde hair. In this one, her work is center stage. She is as much the star of the film behind the scenes as the actors in front of the screen because she gives you so much to work with. She gives you so much realism in the scene that it makes it very, very easy to feel like you've been bit, to feel like you've been cut, to feel like you've been clawing at yourself because it looks very disgustingly real. It's hideous to look at in real life. It's a smell away from being fully authentic, and on camera it looks incredible. That was and and just for the opening for this scene when you see one of the possessed and they're hidden underneath a bag with the first time you see that face and you see what has been done to it effects wise. Yeah, you're into this movie. This movie's going in a dark direction. Just those first few opening minutes to set the tone for what you're about to have in store for you, it ramps it up right off the bat. And then where it gets to by the end of the film, where everything's a little bit grosser and a little bit more heightened and a little bit more murderously, intentively demon like. When you get to the ending, it is a full blown display of her talents. And then you also have the actors of Stu and Grace that they're so on point that their performance alone could carry the entire movie. That on top of the special effects is for me what sucked me in this entire movie. There's a reason I've loved this movie and watched it a bunch of times. Like I'm not a possession person, but I'm definitely a good story person And watching this, halfway through, it almost feels like just a dark Hallmark movie because of how good Stu and Grace are as a couple and the way you could see their dynamic. And then it just gets completely unhinged and turns into a horror film. But it starts off as like, okay, it's a couple having a tough time. They're having an argument, and there's a Dybbuk box. Okay, here we go. So I love the way that he was able to tell that story.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. Like you say, when that bag first comes off the lady's head there in those opening scenes, and you see her for the first time, you're prepared for it, but you're not prepared for it because the makeup is that good. Is it difficult to act there when I mean you're lucky you're looking pretty sharp there in your suit and you got your hair done nasty and you're not Roger, you're not like living out in the woods drinking natty lights. When
No,
yeah. So when you're dealing with somebody who's there like that, and I mean, for all intents and purposes, you could have found some demons somewhere in the goodness knows where. Is it difficult to act alongside that, or at the same time, you're like, actually, no, you can build off of it.
it was. See, I think I got to cheat because the possessed actress in CME was Tatum, who played my sister in A Cold Grave. So we've known each other for years and worked together a few times and love her. She's incredible. There's a scene that's not in the movie where we both start speaking Latin to each other that was improvised. That she didn't tell me she was going to do it. I didn't tell her I was going to do it. When she did it, I was just able to respond. And when I did it, we both kind of learned Latin for this role. Obviously, it's not in the film because Brendan didn't, want to clear what we were saying in Latin. You have to go through different hurdles. But working with her made it a lot easier. However, the first time, um, the bag comes off and I have to see her, and it's not Tatum anymore in makeup. It's this demon because she's making those sounds. She is salivating. I don't know what she was doing with her face and the movements and the way the blood. Uh, the first take that look of not interested was probably more of like either a panic or ew. It was one of those. It was somewhere in the middle of yuckies. I need to walk away, and ugh, like it hit hard. Um, that was one of my better performances, was looking not disgusted while being face to face with her, because it's so unsettling sometimes what taking can do with makeup. And the closer you get to it, the more realistic it looks. It's like an open wound, and it's gross. It's
Yeah.
gross, but it helps with the realism because once you snap back into the character's head of nothing phases him, nothing uh, distracts him from what he's there to do. So being able to hyper focus on I've seen this before a million times, I think it helps because her reaction is so you're going to get a jump scare from that reaction, and then the contrast of blank I think worked really well. But it was definitely hard for me to get to that point, seeing ew, the devil. It's
Well,
gross.
honestly, no,
Actually,
s-
there's one in the film with the twine, because it's about a Dybbuk box. You put everything in a Dybbuk box. You have to wrap it with the twine. And sometimes the twine just enters people's bodies, so you're gonna have to pull that twine out of your body. And it's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And I know that horror fans are gonna love it because I wanted to throw up. It is
yeah,
disgusting.
it is disgusting. It is
Yeah.
disgusting. I watched that and I was like, I need the scene to stop really, really soon because I genuinely, I felt sick watching it. I honestly did. It was really
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
It's this is such a step up. Um, production wise from what we've worked on previously to where we're at now, where genuinely disgusting things can happen, genuinely terrifying things can happen. And it's not just alluding to it, it's not just in the performance, it's also you can show the disgusting things that happened. And I can tell you from what we just did on the last film a few weeks ago, she has been scaling up and perfecting her craft. That what's gross in this movie, it's kind of just a starting point for her. She's going to end up being one of those genuinely terrifying prop makeup people in her career because just ugh. so gross that horror fans are gonna love it. Like absolutely, like lose your mind over it. Like there's 3 kills in this movie that you can rival against any other film as, yep, that's a great murder. That's excellent murder. Fantastic, fantastic kill.
The whole film, though, the whole film is done so well. In terms of just that natural setting throughout the whole film, you got those opening scenes, and then we meet the main characters, Ethan and Liz, and like you say, they're believable. They are really believable that they are going through something. They just bought this house, and they're a genuine couple. That's the way that they come across. And then it starts to unfold and unravel, and everything seems to go wrong for them. But it is entirely believable, but it's uncomfortable. And on top of that, there's a number of scares in there which genuinely made me literally physically jump.
Yeah, I think to make it to get really scary, you have to keep it honest, and that's one of the things I've always liked working about Stuart Maxheimer is he can do cheesy cartoon commercials, he can do over the top sitcom acting, and then he could be a drop dead serious dramatic actor, and he could do them all back to back. And he's just so charming in this film, and he's such a devoted husband, and he's just so loving that you believe him. And Grace is terrific. She's just absolutely incredible. You want to cheer for her, you want to like her. She's this sweet, beautiful young woman. And the two of them together, just look how perfect looking they are together. They look beautiful together. Then when things start to go wrong, they don't look like the type of people things usually go wrong for. You know, nice big house, look like they're doing well in life, and then everything slowly starts to crumble underneath. It reminded me of God, was that Tom Hanks movie, Money Pit, where they got this big beautiful house and everything starts to collapse because it's a money pit. That's what they reminded me of in this film a lot, except it's obviously her soul on the line. And you could see a little bit more, it's decaying and decaying, and he's not seeing it. And she seems to be leaning into it. There's a bunch of different little things you could take away from when is it really over, who's buying in, what's going. Like there was just a lot of little threads in there that I like that you can feel it because their performance was so spot on that you can go down those couple different rabbit holes, just picking up in the little nuances they did as performers.
Amen. And like you say, in terms of the makeup as well, like Tatum's makeup is incredible, and the character of Liz, as she's getting sicker and ill, and the things are taking hold of her throughout the film. You can see it. You know what I mean? She starts off and literally, like you say, beautiful woman, and then slowly but surely she becomes something entirely different. And it's not just suddenly overnight. It just, it
Yeah.
speeds up as to how it gets there. But gee whiz, that makeup it's phenomenal.
Yeah. And I've watched it a couple times now, so I started noticing little things. And usually you watch it because you want to send feedback or figure out how to talk about it. But this time I just watched it and I just started having questions for them. Like I haven't asked because I don't want to know, but I want to know. At what point was she fully transitioned? And at what point was he really did he really know things were going bad and just not face it? Like I want to just ask them as either performers or in character, because there's definitely little hints in there where you can tell that they're making a decision as a character that is so small, but it's definitely the wrong decision. You should immediately run away and do like everything you're doing, you should do it differently. But because it's so subtle, it's, oh man, what are you doing? Oh, is that a bad? What's he doing? Oh, you just got to run. No, you got to leave her and you need to run away. But he's not doing it. He's devoted. He's good. Um, I would have left.
Yeah. Oh, dude, absolutely.
Yeah,
I thought
I
that.
would have run.
There's a line in the film from one of the characters who comes in later, and he literally just says, "It's just people making bad decisions," and that's what these two do. They make the decision to stay. That's the one big mistake they make.
It's the anti-toxic relationship. We're like, you two are so good together. You're gonna try and beat the devil, but you're not.
Yeah,
Good
it's not
luck. Your pure love has no chance for Satan, but nice try, guys.
No. So one of the things you mentioned there a little earlier there is a Dybbuk box. Well, I was watching. I know you guys do your work anyway, so I knew it was going to be a real thing that I had to look into. So I did a little bit of googling to find out exactly what a Dybbuk box is because I've never heard that expression before. When you saw that in the script, were you aware of what one was?
Oh, absolutely. Up until Divas, I never really did horror movies, but I was always a big horror fan and a big fan of the supernatural and the sci-fi and conspiracies and everything in this world that exists beyond the realm of possibility. I love all of that. So a Dybbuk box was something I've known forever since I was little. And I know just Brent and I talking over the years would throw it out there as like, Dybbuk boxes are cool. Dybbuk boxes are fun. You should do one. Put me in the movie. You should do a Dybbuk box. You should do a Dybbuk box. And it was always different versions of it. I would pitch some stupid ideas. And then he kept saying he's like coming up in a couple movies and do Dybbuk box, Dybbuk box, Dybbuk box. What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? Oh, it's a romance story. Oh, all right, that's a weird choice. And then you read the script, you're like, this is why this guy's good at this job. Because I wouldn't have done this. I would have done something very stupid with a Dybbuk box. But I've always known about them. I've heard about them. They picked up popularity probably within the last 20 years because they just started popping up in more and more places, and each one is crazier and crazier. Like, how real are they? I have no idea. But I think it's probably like ghost cases where if there's 199 are exaggerated, but that one, probably some truth to it. So like that one Dybbuk box story, there's probably some truth to it.
Yeah.
And even with this film, there's nothing here that, if you go down that rabbit hole of possessions and supernatural, this story pretty much lines up with a lot of those that they call fact based, where it's not the devil's immediately here and you got to call a priest and the holy water and you do the exorcist. It's more of, I noticed over time, the same way somebody would deal with depression, where it's building, it's building, it's building, then that person is gone. Possession is very similar, where a little bit over time, a little bit over time, and then full blown, the devil has arrived.
Dude, that's a really powerful metaphor, actually, to be fair.
What's
Yeah.
it's the great thing about horror is good horror always has a metaphor for something else. Like even the rules for sleepaway camp was don't do drugs, don't have underage sex, don't wander off alone in the dark. Because if you do any of those three, Jason Voorhees will murder you.
And he does.
Same thing with this one. If you're in a marriage, you're not noticing the subtle changes, and you're not fully listening, communicating, your partner has opened a Dybbuk box and now you're Satan. Same thing.
Oh, there's that bit when he's out digging in the ground in the middle of the night after having a dream, and it's just like, don't do that. This isn't going to end well.
Yes, and you want to say, why are you doing that? And then you think about it, like we're men and we're stupid and we like to dig holes. Men love holes for no real reason. And if you tell me there's a buried treasure out there, like what is it? It's a World War II bomb. Well, I want that now, but it's a terrible idea. I know, but I want it. What are you gonna do with it? I don't know, but I need it.
It
And I'm
looked
gonna see
great
if it
in
works.
that cave.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, no good will come from this action, but I need to do this because it's just I'm a monkey brained human being. I don't know what to do.
That's how we work. That's how we work. The interesting thing for me about exorcism films is there needs to be a degree of belief in terms of your faith and your belief in, to, for the demon to be expunged from the planet. There needs to be a belief in Christianity, or there needs to be a belief in something stronger, some good for that. So I'm interested to know then, in what's your belief in the paranormal then? Not so much in terms as an actor, but in terms of experiences that you may or may not have had in real life.
Well, so I have a tattoo on my ankle of the evil eye. I have another tattoo on my other ankle of a sigil to warn off evil spirits. I was born, and this is a story that was told to me. When I was born into a curse of the evil eye that someone gave, and my grandmother had to do a ritual where she cracked the egg to see I had the evil eye, and then they had to involve a priest to help remove it from me. So I was born into the world with full blown Ecuadorian supernatural occultism. Demons are real, spirits are real. It's just how I was born into the world with that understanding. There's good and there's evil, and evil likes to mess with good, and sometimes good is pretending to be good, and good can become evil, and then evil wins. And that's always been a thing in my head, which is why, I tell my kid, like, ghosts are real, but they may not be bad. Like, if they're here, they're probably here for a reason. Nothing to be scared of. Most of the, I just did a Bigfoot movie, so Bigfoot's fresh in my mind, but I believe Bigfoot's real. I don't believe he's real in the way we think. I think more of like interdimensional, mostly diverse dimensional, or time slips, things like that, rather than just a giant ape hiding in the woods. So I have that in my head of there's just more than what we see. And even if you go to the Bible, some of the stories in the Bible are crazy, but you hear is the stories of fact. And over time you go from, like the Bible is just like it's a good metaphor and it's good knowledge to, this guy really split a sea. And you start to think like maybe, there's some weird things in the world. Is it really possible someone just did this and the sea parted? Did he do that and call it like? Is there more to that story? And I was when I came up with this character, and it really really clicked. My into the character came while I was at church, because the original interpretation I want to do is definitely different than what we did. I think I had a little bit more campiness to him, was a little bit more lighthearted, a little more Russell Crowe's The Last Exorcist, where more the familiar joking around with the spirit, having a good time with it. And um, I was at church and there was a song they were singing, and I can't remember the name of the song, but something in there about staring down the demon, the familiar demon. And the more faith you have, the less power they have over you. And ultimately, what I took away was, oh, when your belief is that strong and your faith in yourself is that strong and you believe that you're on the side of good, when you look the devil or the demon in the face, you look at pure evil, you're not going to flinch, because you're going to have that confidence of I can do this. And that's really where I start honing into that character of like, oh, he's done this so many times that it's a matter of fact. We have the holy water, yeah, we got the Bible, okay, we got this. All right, hey, you need to chill out, we're going to be fine, like settle, we're good. Hey demon, how are you? Oh, look at that, you're a scary demon. And there's just a lot of that came from just hanging out at church and talking to my passion, just seeing his confidence in his faith and hearing the music of not being scared brought me to that point of Lancaster. Like, I wouldn't be scared. Like, I know I'm supposed to pull it off and supposed to go, ah, because that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what most people would do, unless this is your thousandth exorcism and you've been doing it for so long that you take the hood off and you go, hey, that's really where my faith came into this character, was taking a different approach rather than the silly way or the scare way, of more of the I'm tired. Like, I'm tired and this is just my job, and it's a Tuesday night, and I just spent 4 days on an exorcism. I wanted to go home, but I got called into this one. So here I am, and let's do this. And then when things go sideways, I'd like to think all of that little subtleness helped earn that fear a little bit more. And that, oh no, what makes this demon so much worse than everything else I've ever seen? And ultimately, you find out why. But that's where, like, you bring some of yourself to a role. That's what I brought to this one, was the confidence, really, and the belief and faith.
It's interesting, to be honest. I kind of picked up on that. Your reaction to seeing I felt this ain't my first rodeo. I can deal with
Yeah,
this. I got this.
that's really what I want. I wanted it to feel. Also, there's that part that the audience is smart, especially the DBS audience. They are horror fanatics, and just most horror fans in general. They're always looking for something even just a little different. And again, like the first version was you jump, you go, oh, I've never seen anything like this. And I didn't want it to be that. And that's what I was searching for. And when I found something that felt more honest and more grounded to this story, I leaned right into it. And I don't even know if I told Brendan. I may have told him like I was gonna do a completely different thing and then just showed up and did something. and I was going to do it until he told me he didn't like it. But I know that first approach where I leaned in and didn't jump, his reaction was to get the camera tighter on my face to see exactly what we were doing. So I was like, all right, he likes it. Good. I made the right decision. Hooray for me. Correct choice. I was like, I hope he gets this shot. And then the first time I saw him, like, okay, it worked. Nice. Okay, great.
Does that feel good then? You know, when you're on a film and you're given, you know, the great thing about DBS and Brendan, what have you, they seem very open-minded and open to suggestion. So when you come up with an idea and even when you're on set and you run with it, does it feel pretty good that it gets taken on board?
Yeah, and that's really any film. When you have suggestions that someone likes or they take it or they let you use it, it always feels creatively fulfilling as an artist because the amount of work that goes into a role you don't really know. Say, he gives me a character and I've got 6 weeks to prep this character. So the first week is usually trying to figure it out, what it is, who it is, where I want to go with it. The second week, you start putting things in where he went to school, what his friends were like, how did he grow up, where did he come from. The third week, I may read the script. It might happen. I may take a glance at it again because there's that first initial read where you start figuring it out. But like third week, like, all right, let me figure where is he figure out in the script. Where how can I make this work? And that whole time you're starting to build this in your head and it doesn't go away. It's always there. There's always that little voice in your head of, oh, I'm taking out the trash, but how would my character take out the trash? How would he drive? Would he drive 10 and 2? Would he drive lean back? Would he not drive at all? And the last 2 weeks, you just start living with it. You start talking like him. You change your body language. And it all leads up to that moment of, I'm going to make choices. I'm going to make decisions. And if all the work I've been doing up until this point is working, then all these choices are going to be correct. So when you start to do things that, we talk about the character, we don't talk about the little things. So it's the way I'm going to smoke a cigarette. You know, I know we said that we wanted him to smoke. That was a big thing. I'm like, I wanted to smoke. I wanted to be on a smoke break when we opened. That's where we got to. We wanted to start on a smoke break. Where he's like, gotta do another one. Okay. How well, what am I doing? Am I going to just smoke because I like to smoke? Or am I smoking because I'm exhausted? Am I smoking because I kind of don't want to do this? Am I smoking because, maybe I'm the backup demonologist and someone else going to make it? So I'm picking up an extra. Like, I wanted it to look weary. And the first time I did, like, you hear him behind the camera go, yeah, that's what I want. That looks great. That's perfect. And the slower I was delivering, the more I was like, yeah, that's good. You take your time with this. Yeah. And then you start to make those choices and then you workshop them together in the scene. So go too slow. No, you gotta speed it up. You gotta do this, you gotta speed it up. And even the thing with the jacket, the first time I did that, but the way Lancaster takes off a jacket by just throwing it on the floor. The first take after that, he goes, why'd you do that? I said, I want to take the jacket off fast and get to work. He goes, I like it. Keep doing it. I was like, all right. So there's a weird choice I made. That was what I'm throwing out there. Not really expecting you to go with it because it's a weird one. But that okay, he liked that. And then something like the Latin where I'm saying things in Latin, Tatum saying things in Latin, and it feels good as an actor. Tatum and I were like, yeah, we did it. We're on the same page. And you can go, don't do that. I'm gonna have to translate it. I have to get clearance. No, no, don't do the Latin. And you're like, damn, that would have been a good one. Whatever, moving on to the next one. So you have to have that come prepared, always come prepared. This way, there's a reason why you're throwing things out there. And if they're working, you get to keep it. It feels awesome. If they're not working, you can either, complain about it or fight for it if you really believe in it, or there's like 10 films with this guy. I trust him. He knows what he's doing. He would never steer me down the wrong path. So if he's advising me not to do something, probably not do it because there's either something I'm missing or there's a picture that I'm not seeing. So I'm trusting him. And even on the last one, we spent weeks preparing another Roger improvised 10-minute monologue. And like a minute before we go, everything I had been preparing, he's like, we're focusing on that too much. Don't do that. Okay. All right. Okay. So everything I spent an entire plane ride and a drive preparing this one thing. And we don't want to do that, but it's okay because I've spent technically 5 years as this character. and I know what he wants to get across. I know the beats. I know where we have to go. Okay, say action. I'm good. Let's go. And it just flows. But
Yeah,
that's one of those, you work with a guy that much, you start to build that relationship. I'm switching AirPods because
that's fine. That's fine. No, it's interesting, and I want you to promise me this: that when the new Roger movie comes out, you let me know. I can watch it. We'll get you back on, and we'll talk about that one as well.
well, absolutely, that one is wow. See, it's fun to grow with Brendan because I stepped away for 12 years from performing. And right when I got back in is when we got together. So to watch him grow as an artist while I get to really grow at the same time has been a lot of fun because Forest of Death's one of my favorite movies. I love that movie. The way he makes a film now looks nothing like that. I think the way that I've been able to work on camera again is way more advanced than where we were just a few years ago. And it was a really good movie, and he's able to expand with the genre a little. So, for example, this one felt like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
This one felt like something you'd watch on Lifetime and turns into a horror movie. The Bigfoot movie is not a Bigfoot movie. It's about so many other things, about grief and loss and finding yourself and having that hope to move on. But that hope is ultimately crushed by a Bigfoot. So it's fun to watch him go with genres. And I know one of the next, two of the next ones he has coming out that I'm not in. One is a thriller where it's a break-in gone wrong, and the other one is a dystopian future where an EMP goes off. And the next one we're doing together is a psychological AI film. So he's even expanding out of horror slightly while still remaining in the genre. But as a storyteller and as an artist, he is just doing way other things. And this felt like the launching point because it didn't feel like we were really making a horror movie. This felt like more of a dramatic role to me that just happened to have a possessed person. Even the way we approached it was much more of the same way you would approach a drama than a horror movie.
No, I mean you're 100% correct. I love Forest of Death. I thought that was a fantastic film, and I really, really enjoyed that one. But watching this one, you felt like there was a shift, there was a step in another direction. Whether I'd gone Hallmark, I don't know. I've never watched a Hallmark movie with possession and exorcism in it. They should
Yeah,
make it. It would improve a
hey,
lot of those movies that I've seen. But honestly, it was slick. It was a really good quality production. I noticed it, and like you say, Tatum's makeup in it is incredible, and that just blended in well with the way that the film worked. I'm curious to know, though. I'm curious to know in terms of like this one is scripted. You're working from a script. You haven't got that, I am Roger. This is me being Roger. How much did the film differ, the one that you recorded from that original read that you did?
for this one, for Evil Follows,
Yeah, for this one,
uh,
yeah.
I don't think I deviated much. I think if anything, I added little phrases maybe, but for the most part, the way it was written was the way I performed it. And anything, the little tweaks we had were done, I think, before we were even filming. This wasn't me being improv heavy or me uh, just diving and experimenting. This was beat by beat by beat by beat, uh, just a regular feature film. In this shot, we're doing this one. This scene, we're doing this one, as opposed to normally, even in the last cabin, whereas, yeah, we're gonna, you're gonna enter. You're gonna say get this point across, and we're just gonna go till we like one. So action, and then we just see what that character does in that scene, and then you workshop it and you run it again, and then you workshop it, you run it again, you find something you like, you tighten it up, you hone in on it in 6 or 7 takes, and you're done and on to the next one in one shot. Where this one was, it's not a found footage, it's a classic feature. So it was, here's the scene, here's the shots I want to get. Okay, so we're gonna do this part. Okay, great, got it, do it again. Great, got it, do it again. Different end, great, got it, do it again. And it was the first time I think we worked on a regular film together, because it was the first time that, like, all right, what line are we on? Okay, we gotta get that line. And now a lot of it was also because when you have that many effects and you have to hit those scares, you can't deviate much. And believe me, there was a lot of me that wanted to just throw other weird things against the wall. But this was one of those. There was nothing there. I really felt like I could add to it, and I felt like if I skewed too much off doing the improv thing I normally do, I would lose something. So this is really my performance written as Brendan wrote it. So if the dialogue sucks, it's his fault. Yeah, if people don't like this character, it's just blame Brendan.
Yeah,
I just did what
amen.
was on the page.
Yeah, amen, amen. That's it.
The
Throw
look
that
though,
back.
the look though, that was 100% me because I wanted to look like John Constantine. I wanted to. I thought that I would make a great Constantine. If they were going to do an American Constantine, I thought it should be me. So let's get this on film of what it could be like. So that was where the hair came from and the whole look. I just ripped off Constantine. That's all I did.
No, man. Honestly, I would recommend to people that they get out there and they see this movie because I really, really enjoyed it. I'll tell you a story from when I was watching it, okay? Because it's not just it's not just the look of the film; it's the sound of the film as well. Whoever does the sound on that film, it's fantastic. So I was sat there, I was watching it with my AirPods in the back garden, like I said, and then there's one bit where there's just out of the blue, there's just knocking on the thing, and I was like, I think I just heard someone knocking on my back gate. Okay. Now my wife, like I say, my wife and daughter was out, and I said, JJ, it's my son. I think someone's knocking on the back gate. He goes, yeah, I heard it too. He clearly didn't because it was on the movie. So anyway, I sat there and watched it a little bit longer, and then bang, bang, bang again. It's like, oh, okay. And I felt uneasy. I felt uncomfortable. I opened the gate, like just to look around. Then the dog ran out into the road, which wasn't ideal. And then my wife came back in as I was running around in the street with my earbuds in, chasing after the dog, trying to get it back. And she was literally like, do you know how infuriating you are to live with? It's like, yeah, you tell me most days. but honestly, the sound quality on that thing, it is such a professional film. Those DBS films, I'm not saying they weren't professional because they were, but found footage is very, very different to those sort of
Yeah.
genuine movies made. And to see you guys grow and be able to make that film, make that transition so seamlessly, you must fill you all with pride to be able to do that.
Like my running joke with Brendan is I'm just gonna ride his coattails because as a friend, he's the type of guy you can look to and just know that he's doing the right thing. As someone who works for him, I'll follow him into anything he wants to do because he's never steered me wrong. I think my best performances have come with him or because of him, just getting to find a rhythm I didn't know I had came from working with him. So watching him every film go, we're all step the game up. I gotta have better sound. So I'm gonna invest and get better mics. I'm gonna get better software. I'm ready to hire another person to the crew. I'm going to bring in another person to the crew just to do this one job because it makes this easier. I'm going to get a better lens. I'm going to get a better camera. I'm going to buy us an extra day of filming. So he's constantly reinvesting in himself. And you see the progression go every single time because we're filming. That's a really good location. That's a better location. The amount of time we have, that's more time than we normally have. The props, okay, we've got better props. Everything just gets heightened every film. Like for Evil Follows, I had a full wardrobe. None of that was mine. That was all I had a crazy idea and I sent it to Tegan for wardrobe, thinking like, let's see what happens. Maybe I'll get a collared shirt. And when it was the exact Constantine ensemble that I wanted, and I saw he spent the money on that, I said, one, bro, I was screwing with you. That's crazy. I can't believe you spent this much money. And he just said, hey, don't take the tags off. But just seeing that, that he was willing to just upgrade the wardrobe. All right, that's step one. And now from the last film where it's, hey, you're showing up, you're gonna have your wardrobe, you're gonna have your own room. We're staying at this great place. Everything is just it's heightened from where it was when we're making a cold grave, and it was just us in the forest, hoping no one wandered by with some Miller High Life and a pack of cigarettes. To the scale up he's done has been incredible, and just knowing, I saw the script for the next movie. I told him he's insane, but it's scaling up again in a major way. And that's just, I think, how he grows his business and how he grows as an artist every time. Being able to ride those coattails is incredible because one of these days he's going to have a film that does obsession numbers. And I just can't wait to have my name associated with it.
Oh no, you can see it. you can see. I've loved following your progression. You know, I love seeing the films that you're in. I love seeing what DBS are doing. You know, from a guy from the UK who used to love horror when I was, a little bit younger. And like I said, don't tend to watch quite as much of it now, so I don't like putting those vibes out into the house with my kids there. But it's given me a good reason to go back and watch it and actually see something new. Because that's what I found when I watched these films. It's something new. And I call this, an exorcism movie. But truthfully, I don't know if I'm being disrespectful to it, because it's more of a possession movie. It's more of a story as well. It's more of a tale of a couple who are dealing with something way beyond the realms of possibilities, it would seem. But there we go. It just unfolds and happens in front of you. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. It is. It's great. It's great to see you grow. Now, what I want you like to say, if people are watching this, they may not even recognize you because you look different every time we have you on.
Yes.
But the last time you were on, you were getting ready to play Lincoln. How did that go?
That was boy. So I'm very cautious with how I pick my roles and to the projects I want to do. But sometimes when you're a person who's 5'9" on a good day, and someone asks you if you want to play Abraham Lincoln, who's about 6'6", you just say yes to see how they're going to pull it off. So that was where I just really wanted to see how they were going to make me look tall. Because when I was in acting class, one of the first lessons I learned was accept that there's certain roles you can't play. And I said, well, I can't play Batman and I can't play tall. Uh, but I did play a version of Batman and I played a version of tall. So it was just something fun to check off the bucket list.
Hey man,
And
yeah. What do you think about Tool? You think about Lincoln?
um, really weird guy that I didn't know how much I didn't know about him to really started researching him. And it wasn't, he comes in at the end of the movie. It's a more a story of a young girl wanting to fight for her beliefs. And in the end, Lincoln comes in, but you still do the research. And I read so many different things about him that like just a totally like a normal human being with normal life problems that just happened to be the president of the United States at the craziest, most insane time where he could have very easily just split the country. Like that was an option. He could have just done nothing and just survived his 4 years, but he chose to really dig his feet in and make a difference. And that's just not something a normal person would do. But a guy who's a professional wrestler, a guy who had a wife that he had to take care of, a guy who just never really seemed to be handed anything and had to go out there and work for it, to get to a point where he could really make a difference and he chose to do it was fun to step into those feet. I hope I did a good job as him, and I hope eventually that movie comes out because I have not heard anything about it for quite a while.
Oh, I hope so too. I hope so too. But like you say, interesting character. Yes, he was a professional wrestler, but not just any professional wrestler. In terms of, I'm going to use the word record.
Like
Loose.
like one of the all-time greats of
Yeah.
freestyle wrestling. He was like
yeah,
the Brock Lesnar of his time.
He was. He has the best. He has the best professional record of any wrestler that's ever lived. He only ever lost one fight.
Yeah, and he was so humble about everything. It was a really just a different kind of human being, especially in that time period where everyone seemed to be more of a scoundrel. He seemed to be a guy with a lot of good integrity.
Indeed, that must have been unique to play. I mean, how many people get to play Lincoln?
Yeah, I always wanted to do a period piece, and it was shooting on an actual historical battleground in historical conditions, which meant no air conditioning. So I guess it was kind of just like being in Europe. But it did feel very real when it was time to start rolling. Everything felt very real because the sweat was real. You were uncomfortable. You were in the heat. Everything was dirty, and everyone looks dirty and tired and exhausted. It felt very, very authentic.
Yeah, I hope that movie comes out. I'd love to see it. But taking it back then to the current movie, will we see Kavar the Demon appear in another DBS film? Or am I not allowed to ask that question?
So I don't know the title yet. I don't think he's named it, but there is another film. I'm gonna say it's probably coming out next year. That is let's say it's an indirect sequel to this, the same way A Cold Grave was an indirect sequel to Force of Death. That Bigfoot Country, every types is in that same lineage. Yes, Cabal does
Interesting.
come back, and I think Brendan's finally taking the steps towards creating his own world because he does have this. He has a lot of great characters he's created over the years. That for him to finally start putting them all together. Interact with Cabal, but like Roger would be fun.
Well, that's it. Kavar versus Roger. That's what we want to see, isn't it? That's the ultimate showdown, surely. Yeah, amen.
I'm trying to figure out which one of these AirPods has some juice left in it.
Well, listen, we're getting close towards the hour mark now, so you don't need to worry too much about that. So in terms of like say Roger, then we know we're going to get to see him again. Will we get to see him versus Kavar? I don't know. But one of the things I do love, so in terms of my favorite genre of films, I love that viewer skew sort of universe where
Yes.
Kevin Smith created all those characters and they pop up in all those different movies in one, like in Mallrats and Clerks, Jersey Girl, and I love the way that those characters get reused, and I love the way that you guys are doing it as well. So I've got my fingers crossed for Roger.
That's funny. That's one of the whole reasons I ever got into entertainment was because of Kevin Smith. He grew up in Red Bank, New Jersey. I was from Lincoln Park, New Jersey. It's about 2 hours away. I loved his writing, his characters. I thought the way he created his whole universe was my favorite thing in the world. And I've been begging Brendan 2 years in a row, like just get one of our films into it. He does a horror festival in New Jersey. Please submit one of these films. And he's just he's not doing it. I think he's just doing it, not doing it just because he wants to piss me off.
Sounds like it's working.
Hey, you mean the guy that's my biggest role model is running a horror festival, and we're currently making some of the best independent horror movies available? I feel like we can win this and get into it. Like, I know we have to go to New Jersey, but I'll drive.
What more can you say? What more can you say? So one of the things I want to ask you about before we let you go then is you shared on your Facebook maybe a month or so ago the Roger Funko Pop. Dude, what can we buy those? Are they available to buy?
That wasn't real. That's not real.
Oh, dude.
What's funny? It tricked my wife too. She goes, "What? When are they making these?" I'm like, "It's fake." She goes, "No." I was like, "Yeah, it's fake. It's a Funko app. I just made it." But yeah, you're one of a few people who have actually reached out to me. This may be something that needs to happen as a little.
Dude, I'm telling you. If you had a link to it, I'd be clicking on it right now and I'll be buying it.
You could just buy Kurt Russell from The Thing. Kind of it's basically the same thing. Just put a cowboy hat on him.
Yeah, possibly. So we normally wrap these things up round about the hour, and I have to say it's been a pleasure. It has been an absolute pleasure. Like I say, promise me you'll come back on when we do when you do the next Roger movie, because I need to watch that.
I'll actually tell you what, we have another one coming out in a few months. We already shot it. It's called The Missing Ones. It may be an alien movie. It may not be an alien movie. It's another psychological film. Playing another new character in that one that again has great potential to come back. And Brendan is bringing a new person into the DBS film universe with Chris Vanderkay, who currently has the #1 film on Found. So he's just bringing in another rock star, and he does a phenomenal job carrying that film. I think I have I'll send you the trailer after this, but it looks like another banger. I forgot we even shot the thing.
Yeah, send me that link. I'd like to watch that. I would. I'd like to see that. But yeah, definitely next time you do another Roger film, we need to get Roger back on. Definitely, definitely. We need to perpetrating that character out there into the universe and make something big happen for that guy. So for the folks out there, where can they find you? Where can they find your films, and where should they go looking for it?
Find me just Benjamin L Newmark on Instagram, Facebook. I think I have a TikTok. If I don't really go on it, I'm not a fan of them. I just don't do videos. I like reading. But Instagram, Facebook, feel free to shoot me a message. I try and respond to everybody. Unless you're an AI bot, then I just delete and block you. DBS, same thing. DBS on every social media platform. He just revamped his website. His YouTube channel is his new library of films. So if you want to watch Force of Death or A Cold Grave or The Last Cabin, go to the DBS YouTube channel. And August 4th, Evil Follows is the new name. It used to be Echoes of Evil. He changed it to Evil Follows. That'll be available August 4th worldwide. Multiple different platforms you can rent or buy it on. I believe the main one is Amazon Prime, but you expect to see it on just about every place you can rent or download a film from.
And I will say, if you're planning on watching just one movie in August, make it that one, because honestly, I thought it was a fantastic film, genuinely scary. And not only that, it's just, I felt uneasy throughout the whole thing. You feel it build, and that goes to how the film was made. It goes to the actors in it. It's an absolute. I take my hat off to you guys. You did a fantastic job on this one.
Yeah, I was so excited for it, and it's again, you work with people a lot. Like seeing Stewart in that role, giving that performance, made me happy. Seeing Brendan put that film together with Dylan and Tegan, it made me happy for them. You see your friends do good work, and you're like, yeah, they nailed it. That was a good job. I got to text them and tell them they sucked because they just did too good. I cannot give them that kind of satisfaction.
Hey man, that's it. You need to keep these people grounded. I appreciate the work you're doing.
Yeah, they know how good they are. They don't need me glazing them.
No, exactly. They don't need to hear that. So listen, I want to thank you, we've got a pretty full schedule before I go off on my holidays. But as soon as you reached out and said, you wanted to talk about this, it was like, hey man, we need to get you on. We need to make this happen. So thank you very much for reaching out and talking about this film and sending me a link so I could watch it for free. I absolutely appreciate that.
That's the exchange. I'll let you talk. If you let me come on, I'll let you watch a movie for free.
What more can you ask? What more can you ask? Yeah. No, seriously, Benjamin, thank you very much. And we look forward to next time having you back on. So I will say thank you very much. And we will say take care. And I will be talking about something entirely different next time around.
Friends around the mic, kicking back. All right. Day turns into night. Podcast in the spotlight.